What it do, homies? It's your boy David. I'm back today. We're back here with a Dax reaction. This time we checking out To Be a Man. Let's go ahead, shut up, and turn it up. Based off the title, I think I got an idea of what this is about.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
Ooh. Oh, he's already, oh my goodness. Okay. So yeah, he's about to touch on some emotions right here. Yo, that kind of hit me hard right there, right? Because in my household, I am the single provider. And this situation that they showed right here, kind of just running into the, coming into the house, because I have two kids, right? And a 3-year-old boy and a 1-year-old girl, and the daughter just running to you. I'm gonna tell you something. No matter how hard things get, man, your kids sometimes just make up for the world, right? That's some unconditional love right there. You're the only thing that matters to them, makes everything worth it. But you guys kind of see you kind of sitting there in the car, and he kind of was just, it's just be so many things that's going on. He's right. Doesn't care about what you know. It's all about what you provide. And in this society, no matter how you look at it, that's how they value men, by what you can provide, right? That's the truth. And it's been that way for years, hundreds and hundreds of years. If you go back into the early days, what was the status quo there, right? Men was working, right, and women were staying at home. Now, of course, you have your feminists, right? The real feminists, right, out there that's fighting for women's rights, that was changing that. But sometimes that stuff is just so ingrained because it's through generations of being that way, that's just what some women want to do. Because I remember my wife telling me not the other day, but because we've been together for 14 years, she was telling me from the get-go that that's what she wanted to do. She worked when she needed to, right? When she says, Dave, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. You know what I mean? So, and it is true, if you kind of look at the statistics, that when it comes to wanting to start a family, the conversation starter is generally by the woman. Right? The man's just always out there working, but that stuff is hard. As a conversation for another day, I do understand that there are exceptions and everything, but I'm looking at the bigger overall picture here.
What you know, it's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. Yeah, I know this life can really beat you down. You wanna scream, but you won't make a sound. Got so much weight that you've been holding, but won't show any emotion. As a man that goes unspoken,
That's right. That's right. Because, you show emotion. Some people look at it as kind of a sign of weakness. I like what he says, you will scream, but you don't make no sound. So essentially, he ain't saying like verbally, or not verbally, or audibly, you were screaming, because obviously you will make a sound. You know what I mean? Essentially, what he's saying is, when you're reaching out for help, and now people are going to be like looking at you, right? You sit here and you're trying to provide for the family and everything, and you trying your best and everything, let's say that you're trying to apply for some jobs and whatnot. Nobody's kind of reaching out at you. You go and be like, oh man, I ain't got no job. People look at you like you're a broke bum. You know what I mean? Like you just broke. No matter how hard that you try to actually get out there and provide for yourself, because your value is by how much you provide. So, another thing, you saw how, he was kind of drinking. That's also another discussion, right? The things that men do to cope with this type of burden. Some of that things turns into unhealthy, like addictions, right? It's not always alcohol. Sometimes smoking, sometimes it's some other like self-depreciation. That's where self-depreciation type of stuff.
Holding, but won't show any emotion. As a man that goes unspoken, now we can't cry when life gets hard. Unconditional love for women, children, and dogs.
So that has some dandruff, man. I never know what's on my shirt because I be holding my daughter all the time, Sometimes I get on the camera and like 20 minutes into it, I'm just like, oh, snaps, I had that on my shirt the entire time. Unconditional love for women, children, and dogs.
We We know that we just have to play our parts, and don't nobody give a damn about our broken hearts, yeah. As a man, we gotta pave our way. Our only function is to work and slave. There's no respect for you if you ain't paid. You're disregarded as a human and you can't complain. And if you ever make it up and actually reach that place and find a woman that you love and give her your last name, you'll feel the things that you provide is only why she stays. And when you try to explain, you'll say, I can't hide myself.
He said if you finally make that place, you get your bride, you get your woman, and you finally learn that the condition was, ooh, that's tough, right? That's kind of similar to saying that, oh man, a lot of that has to do with the reason for marriage, right? I find marriages that kind of start that way is already on foundation. If you're going around with a whole lot of money, right? And then you get married and you ain't looking at the signs and everything, that relationship for the most part was doomed to fail. You kind of see that happening already, right? You got a lot of money, you marry into it. The biggest thing right here is when you start from zero, right? Because I'm not rich by any means, you know what I mean? But my wife she been shooting with me. What's the word? Shooting with me in the gym. You know what I mean? I don't have much, but I have a lot more than I did when we first started dating 14 years ago. So in the event that I don't make any money, and I've been in that situation where I lost jobs, my wife just stood by me and everything. So that part I can't relate, but I have lived vicariously through other people that have been in this situation. So that's tough.
Never make it up and actually reach that place and find a woman that you love and give her your last name. You'll feel the things that you provide is only why she stays. And when you try to explain, you'll say, I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man.
I think another reason for this song is that, and maybe it is, this is the reason probably, maybe it's just me, but it just seems these days that anytime, and you correct me if I'm wrong, anytime that a man wants to try to talk about his feelings, emotional and everything, it just seems like the conversation is always kind of rooted all the way back to kind of like women or children or something like that. You know what I mean? Like men can't have a place to just talk about their feelings and their emotions without a woman coming in and kind of just changing the narrative to go all the way around to put them on the right side. You know what I mean? That's how I feel sometimes, because I go to social media social media and everything, and I'll hear about these complaints and everything, and I'll hear about one complaint from a woman that would get massive support, and I hear that same complaint by a man and it wouldn't get that much, not even that much, and they'd be like, you guys know what I'm talking about. So I think that's kind of like where this song is hitting, right? It's kind of like the song that if you're a man, everything that you've been feeling is just all out right here. There might be some things that are missing, but it's kind of nice to hear this, especially from somebody who has such a big platform.
It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. Don't give up, keep fighting. As a man, our sun is our horizon, and our father's actions play a role, and we end up like them. So they can't let us see them hurt, because we'll embody what they do and start a generational curse.
That part right there, 100% that part. And I'm gonna tell you something about, I'm gonna tell you something about this, man. Sometimes, run it back, hold on.
Don't give up, keep fighting. As a man, our sun is our horizon, and our father's actions play a role, and we end up like them.
Our father's role, so, oh my goodness. So, before I was born, my dad was kind of in the I wouldn't say in the gangland. He just was from the streets, right? Guns, gangs, robberies, all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? On his way to jail and stuff. But he ended up changing his life when I was born. right? And he showed me receipts. You know, he got these letters and all this type of stuff and actions and stuff he talked about. He's a completely different type of man. But what I liked about it was I happen to think that if he was living that type of life, you know what I mean, like out there in the streets, it's very possible that I would have been kind of like the same. Because my dad and my mother was never together, right? They were kind of separate. I was born out of wedlock, if you will. My dad went somewhere else, got married. Mom went somewhere else, got married. My mom's life and my dad's life were two completely different things. I'm pretty sure I would have been a completely different dude if my dad was not in my life, because my mother, you know, that's who I lived with. She, for the most part, you know, through school and everything, but there were some things that she could not teach me that my dad could. And I understand the value of that now that I am a father as well, that all of my actions, when I see my kids and everything, when I see them mimic the type of stuff that I do, we often forget how impressionable kids are at a very early age, very impressionable. They soak up information like sponges. They can see you do something a year. They can see you do something and then won't, and it'll be in the back of their brains, and they won't execute it until like maybe 2 years from now. And you sitting here wondering, where did you learn that? They learned it from you, right? Generational stuff. Everything starts at home. Everything starts at home, right? Foundation is strong. Give the children a better chance to kind of get out there in the world and actually provide some value. There's obviously exceptions. At the end of the day, when a kid turns 18, they're a young adult. They're responsible for their own decisions. The best thing you could do is raise them enough, hopefully enough, to know the difference between good and right and wrong, and be able to provide some type of value or something like that. That's powerful right there.
Is our horizon, and our father's actions play a role, and we end up like them, so they can't let us see them hurt, because we'll embody what they do and start a generational curse. No wonder most men are so
see, and I know I'm pausing a lot, but it's a reaction video. All right, what do you expect? Links in the description if you want to go watch it without. I don't get those type of people. You cannot watch this video as a reactor and not have a lot of things to say. On a man and a woman's side, right? Both of them, whoever is reacting to, no matter who is reacting to this, they have to be having something to speak about. I don't understand how any reaction could just be the length of this song without having nothing to talk about. Okay.
Because we'll embody what they do and start a generational curse. No wonder most men are so depressed.
Embody what they do, start a generational curse. So again, honestly, this might be a little bit part of me than it is part of my parents. But I told my wife that when I was younger, I had a whole lot of anger issues, but I didn't understand until I was younger that my dad just simply wasn't around. I don't know why I was so angry, just very angry, until he came back into my life. I just didn't see him that often because, you know, split custody, that has a damaging effect on kids. It really does. Having to go someplace and spend a limited time, go another place and spend another limited time. Who's going to get you for holidays? I go with my dad's for Christmas, you know, but I was staying mostly with my mom. But I knew from a very early age, or at least when I was 18, that when I did find my wife, that we weren't going to break up for nothing. She just texted me that we weren't going to break up for nothing. And the reason why, especially now that we have kids, and the reason why is because I know what that feels like. And that can be another generational curse, right? Your kids wake up, your kids are growing up and they see you, you know, separated, right? They're going to think that's the norm, right? I idiotically thought that was the norm because all of my friends didn't have both parents in the house, right? I think it's a sort of a privilege, if you will, right, to have both parents in the house. My wife had both of her parents in the house, and I experienced a whole new different type of dynamic than what I was experiencing. So that's something that can cause like a generational curse, because then your kids grow up that and be like, I didn't have that at home, so I guess that was normal. It's crazy.
All the things that they can't express. They go to war, get thrown on the shelf, then go back to war with their mental health, then grab that bottle.
They go to war off the shelf. They go back to PTSD with the. All right, I'm gonna try to stop pausing it, but he's dropping a whole lot of bombs here.
Express. They go to war, get thrown on the shelf, then go back to war with their mental health, then grab that bottle and ask for help, try to pull themselves out of hell, then fall back down and then realize that they're gonna have to do it themselves. It's the circle of life. As a man you provide, they don't know what you're worth till the That's why we feel we can't hide ourselves. We don't expect you to understand. We just hope we can explain what it's like to be your man. It's a lonely road, and you don't care about what we know. It's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home. Inside that home.
This is a beautiful song.
It's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home. Inside that home.
Yo, I might need to do some more reactions to Dax, because I didn't like the one reactions that I do have to him was kind of like fast lyrical type stuff and everything, and it was cool and all, but I didn't really find anything that I can actually sink my teeth into. But I could do some more reactions to this. You know, Dax obviously know who reactors are, and I think he made this song obviously for everybody to listen to, you know, and other men to kind of grasp onto it and say, you know, you're not alone, definitely understand this. And the fact that he has such a big platform, it means everybody gets to see this, and hopefully some people who did not have any type of clue now does have a clue. Maybe they go check up on the person that's providing and ask them questions and everything. But I also would like to think that in the reactor field that this encourages the men and women, but mostly men, that do reactions to this to actually talk about how they feel, talk about their experiences, because there's no better place. You know what I mean? Obviously, I think this video looks 83. There's going to be people that's going to be coming in to checking in on their reactions. In my case, a very small amount of people stay for my commentary. I appreciate those who did, but it's a good chance to encourage some good conversation towards some type of change. Right. But anyways, this video is long enough. It's the end of this video. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and subscribe. Dave's out.